Hare Krishna. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class and attentive chanting. We shouldn't really stop the nursing of prayer, but I know it's going to be quite long, and so we really got to start the class as as timely as possible. So we will make a start now, and if anybody wants to join, then they can join in between. So today we're talking about the scheduled incarnation with the specific functions of the Lord. So Brahmaji has been describing, after describing so much about Lord Krishna to Narad Muni, and so this is Parikshit Maharaj being told by Shukadeva Goswami about the conversation between father and son, Brahmaji and Narad Muni. And now Brahmaji wanted to describe to Narad Muni the Lord's pastime incarnations. And Brahmaji was always immersed in remembering them and their divine activities. They're pleasing to the heart and thus extinguish the inclination to hear other subjects. So we are also advised and encouraged to do the same. The real value of material life is to hear, describe, and remember the wondrous pastimes enacted by the Lord in this world. So Brahmaji described to Narad Muni Krishna's avatars, past and future, in order to encourage him to preach the Lord's glories throughout the universe. So Narad Muni will already know which avatar is coming in the future. Yes, very useful. And so Brahmaji mentioned the scheduled incarnation with specific functions to him. Let's do a quick prayer first of all. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langyate girim yat kirpataham vande Shri Guru Teen Taranam Pramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Hari Om Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Sasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyet Nasta Preyeshav Vadareshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shalokhe Bhakti Bhavati Nestiki. So first of all, we mentioned some of the past names. It's nice to do a revision of the incarnations, and it's very purifying as well. I'm sure you'll know a lot of them, but it's nice to go through them anyway. So regarding the past incarnations, Brahmaji mentioned when Hiranyakashipu and how he plundered the earth planet for gold. Hiranyaksha, no, I'm sorry, no, Hiranyaksha, it was Hiranyaksha, not Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyaksha, his brother, plundered the earth planet for gold, and Hiranyaksha disturbed her delicately balanced buoyancy and toppled into the Garbhodaka ocean at the bottom of the universe. So to rescue her, the unlimitedly powerful Lord appeared as a wondrous bow named Varahadev. So that was one past incarnation. Then the Lord appeared as Yagya, the son of Prajapati Ruchi and goddess Akuti, daughter of Swambhuva Manu, the great leader of mankind. Yagya took the position of Indra due to no one else being sufficiently qualified. So the Lord always comes with a motive, with a reason. And then the Lord appeared as sage Kapila. He instructed his mother Devhuti. He instructed her in spiritual knowledge, thereby helping her to attain perfection. And anyone who understands Kapila's teachings can likewise become liberated from material existence and attain the spiritual planet where he eternally dwells. So sage Kapila has left his what he taught his mother. He has left that for us also, and also his mother helped a lot of people as well after she gained the knowledge. And then sage Atri and Anasuya married and performed long austerities with the desire to have Vishnu as their son. And out of love for his devotees, the Lord appeared before them and granted their wish. Their son was called Dattatreya, which means given to Atri, Dattatreya. He was the combined manifestation of Lord Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. He also showed to King Yadu, which we have, the story we have done, that he showed King Yadu how he had taken shelter of 24 gurus. By studying their activities, he had learned the science of the self. And we went through this. Then Brahmaji described the Lord incarnation as the twin ascetics, Nar and Narayan. They were the sons of the god of religion, Dharma, and his wife Murti, one of the Prajapati Daksha's daughters. And Nar and Narayan performed severe penance, and Indra was anxious they might usurp his position. Hosts of Apsaras unsuccessfully tried to interrupt their austerities, and instead of becoming disturbed, they manifested from their bodies hosts of their own goddesses who far surpassed in beauty Indra's Apsaras. For example, Urvashi, and that's a story we have done as well. Now the form of Rishini Garbha, dark like a thundercloud, with dazzling ornaments and a brilliant golden helmet, appearing before Durva. The child offered his prostrated obeisances to the Lord, who blessed him with a kingdom greater than his father's, the pole star, an eternal spiritual planet within this universe. It becomes, so that's the only planet that doesn't get destroyed. It's eternal. Whereas everything else, after Brahmaji, after his 100 years, everything gets destroyed and goes back into Karnadaksha Vishnu, Mahavishnu. So it became known as Dhruvalok, and the Lord also resided there with him. So Brahmaji then described King Prithu, the incarnation of an ideal king. Prithu's father was the evil king Vena, who terrorized his citizens and opposed the worship of anyone except himself. The Brahmanas killed him by uttering a powerful mantra. Bereft of a king, the citizens were severely harassed by criminals. The Brahmanas churned the legs of Vena's dead body, which was preserved in an oil vat. From the churning, the Lord incarnated as Prithu to protect the people. And when heard from astrologers that this deceased father had been born as an outcast and was suffering from leprosy, King Prithu at once sought him out. He brought him to Kurukshetra and performed rituals to relieve him of the reactions of his past sins. So, very merciful. The Lord also appeared as Vishvadev, as we know, the son of King Nabi and Queen Sudevi. After renouncing his throne, Vishvadev perfectly practiced Jat Yoga, which required him to become dumb like a stone, unaffected by any worldly situation, no matter how disturbing. He walked naked along rural roads, soiled with the matted locks. He would be surrounded by jeering men and women. Some of them threw stones at him and others spat at him. Some even urinated upon him, but he silently tolerated everything. So that's just renunciation of everything. So once Brahmaji performed a sacrifice of the Lord, appeared as a half man, half horse. As he breathed, all the delightful sounds of the Vedic hymns came out of his nostrils. It was the golden form of Hayagriv, being elaborately worshipped in Brahma's sacrificial arena. All the devas were present, as well as the 1,000 sages. And all these incarnations had already appeared. Then Brahmaji told about the incarnations now yet to come. So these are past incarnations. Then Brahmaji even knows about the future incarnations, because this information has been passed on to him by the Lord himself. So Brahmaji mentions that at the end of Swayambhuva Manu's reign, there will be partial inundation of the universe. At that time, the Lord will appear as a divine fish, Matsya, and save King Satyavrat, who will become the next Manu of the name Vyavasvata Manu. The last time there was a great flood, Brahmaji became frightened on seeing the rising waters. Everyone gasped in fear. The Vedic hymns dropped out of his mouth and into the swirling ocean. At that time, Matsya appeared and rescued the Vedas while swimming about playfully. So Matsya appeared twice, once for pastime with Satyavrat Muni, and before that when the Vedas had fallen into the waters. So next Brahmaji predicted the advent of the Lord's turtle incarnation, Kurma Avatar. He will assist the demons and the gods to churn the milk ocean by acting as the resting place for their churning rod, Mandra mountain. The gods and the demons when they began retreating the mountain while within the sea of milk, Kurma floated with his eyes half closed, enjoying the sensation of having his back scratched by the mountain. And we all know that getting a back scratched is it's a nice relief. And Brahmaji then described Nrsingadev, the Lord's half-man, half-lion incarnation, who would kill the mighty demon Hiranyakashipu, the god's enemy. Roaring as Hiranyakashipu angrily charged him with his great sword held aloft. Seizing him, the Lord pinned his squirming foe across his lap with his long razor-like claws. He ripped open the demon's belly and tore out his intestines. The gods begged Hiranyakashipu's young son Prahlad, a great devotee, to placate him. When he's still very angry, and we're doing the the Nrsingadev prayer a little bit earlier on, beginning of this program. So that was the incarnation of Nrsingadev to destroy Hiranyakashipu. And then Brahmaji described how the Lord, wielding his disc weapon, will appear as four-armed Hari on the back of his eagle carrier Garuda to save the elephant Gajendra. Because Gajendra in his previous birth was the great devotee Indradumna, King Indradumna, and in his past life, one day King Indradumna, absorbed in worshipping the Lord, failed to notice sage Agastya approaching and did not therefore show him respect. The sage became angry, cursed him to become Gajendra, or an elephant. Gajendra, then he was attacked by a mighty crocodile while bathing in the river. But Gajendra remembered prayers from his previous life, so he still had this boon. And he plucked a lotus and held it up and called out to the Lord with the lotus in his trunk. And Lord Hari hastily descended from his spiritual Vaikuntha planet on the back of Garuda. Hurling his disc weapon, the Lord severed the crocodile's head. As soon as Gajendra was touched by Hari, it attained an eternal four-armed spiritual form resembling the Lord's. So that was the pastime of Gajendra. Then Brahmaji narrated how the Lord will appear as Vamandev, the dwarf son of sage Kashyap and goddess Aditi. And King Bali, the grandson of Prahlad, will conquer Indra, king of heavens, and usurp his kingdom. Kashyap Muni, the god's father, seeing his wife Aditi grieve over her son's predicament, so these are Indra's parents, will advise her to worship Vishnu. Pleased by her worship, the Lord will appear as her son and restore Indra's kingdom. Knowing of Bali's disposition, he will recover the universe by asking for charity. In return, Bali was awarded a place in Vaikuntha, the eternal spiritual world. So that was his reward. Narad was also told by Brahmaji that, pleased with his intense love for him, the Lord will appear in his swan incarnation, Hams Avatar, and instruct you in the full science of devotional service, which we covered. And Brahmaji described the Manu incarnation, known as Manvantara avatars, the fathers of mankind. Then about Dhanvantari, who emerged from the ocean of milk during its churning, the avatar who inaugurates the medical science of Ayurveda. So the dark-haired Parashuram, who single-handedly killed the corrupted ruling classes 21 times. Brahmaji also described the quadruple incarnation of Lord Ram and his three divine brothers, how they headed an army of monkeys and bears and besieged Ravan's capital and slew him with all his Raksha followers. Excuse me. Then with great reverence, Brahmaji spoke about Krishna. When the earth is afflicted due to the predominance of aggressive kings, Lord Krishna will descend in his extraordinary form. His real purpose for coming will be to exhibit his delightful human-like pastimes, so that his devotees can enjoy great bliss by discussing them. Because Krishna, he can kill anybody from where he is. He can send his energies to kill the demons, but he came to show his pastime and make his devotees happy. So each of Brahma's days, Lord appears as Vyasadev, the son of Satyavati, to divide the Veda into sections and thus make it easier to understand. He comes as Buddha to bewilder the atheists who misuse Vedic teachings, to stop animal killing in the name of religion. Finally, at the end of Kali Yuga, when everyone will be godless, Krishna appears as Lord Kalki and kills the atheists. So we've gone through the Dasavatars and other incarnations. So this is the Lord's glories, and understanding the Lord's glories, he always comes with a purpose to benefit us. And as we were talking before, that we're just a very tiny little planet in a very small universe, and yet when we're the unlimited planets and unlimited universes, the Lord still thinks about us, and he comes with a purpose to benefit us. That is his mercy. So Brahmaji ended his account by saying, perhaps the scientists may count the atoms in the universe, but this would be nothing compared to the task of understanding Krishna's glories. When a person takes guidance from Krishna's pure devotee, he will receive the Lord's grace. By such favor, he will be able to give up his attachment for bodily pleasure. So this is the idea. Let's see why Brahmaji is mentioning all this. He's just doing a revision of the past incarnations and mentioning the Lord's purposes and also his future incarnations with his purposes and how those purposes benefit us, so that we may be inspired to worship the Lord. By such favor, he will be able to give up his attachment for bodily pleasure, and then only will he understand Krishna to some degree? As long as one is still attached to sensual enjoyment, he cannot know Krishna. So we have to give up the sensual bodily pleasures if you want to understand Krishna. Otherwise, we're just covered by Maya, and we just live under illusion. So Narad Muni is asking, so what about the ordinary people? Could they not achieve perfection? Inquired Narad Muni. So Brahmaji showed him that there are no bodily disqualifications. Even the most sinful persons can attain perfect spiritual realization if they follow the guidance of such saints. Because we always thought that all these things were for very renounced people, for the sages or the people who go live in the Himalayas, they're meditating. But everybody can benefit and everybody can get liberation, everybody can go back home. Just need to follow the guidance as instructed by a spiritual master. So there are 3 levels of realizing Krishna. The first is Brahman realization, when the devotee understands Krishna's greatness. Brahman, the Lord's all-pervasive feature, is indescribable as it has no material characteristics. Nevertheless, it is the source of the entire material creation. So when a person realizes Brahman, the illusory energy can no longer act on him. He ceases to identify with the material body and is therefore not subject to material miseries. So even just realizing Brahman can bring about all these changes, so including even death. They may get ill and perish, but because they are fixed in spiritual realization, freed of bodily identification, they don't experience the miseries of old age, disease and death. In the next level of realization, the devotee realizes Paramatma. He sees Vishnu residing in the hearts of all living beings. Those practicing mental speculation and meditation give these up once they attain the stage of Paramatma realization. Yet those who reach this stage through hearing and chanting about Krishna become more enthusiastic about their practices. So the benefit of continuing to hear and chant after attaining Paramatma realization leads one to Bhagwan realization, which is to become the Lord's personal associate and enter his eternal loving pastimes. This stage is our ultimate goal. So those practicing sadhana bhakti or devotional service like we are trying to do don't need to study the Vedas or meditate to achieve success. We don't really have the time to study the Vedas. We can just about read the books that we have been recommended. Vedas take many lifetimes, and meditation, they mean like, thousands of years to achieve success, and we don't have that time either. So Narad was deeply enlivened to share what he had heard. So playing his transcendental veena and chanting Krishna's names, he took leave from his exalted father and commenced travel across the universe. So Naradji was, Brahmaji's job was done. He inspired Narad Muni to go and preach Lord's glories. And for us, we need to give up bodily pleasures as much as possible if you want to understand Krishna. Very important that we follow these instructions. So I hope that makes some kind of sense. Thank you all so much, and we'd like to hear from you all. Are you inspired by all these, the glories of the Lord? We just did like a revision of the glories, and how many. Sometimes we think that Lord Krishna only comes as a king, very opulent person, but you've seen that he comes in all shapes and sizes, and because he doesn't come as saying, okay, I'm going to go now to planet Earth and enjoy myself as a king. No, he comes with a purpose, and whatever the purpose is, he takes his body accordingly. And whether it's a fish or a half man, half horse, or a half man, half lion, whatever it takes, or even a tortoise, Krishna is totally renounced. He doesn't he doesn't feel ashamed that I'm going to be animal or a reptile or something. He does everything for us, and we should actually get inspired by that as well. That Krishna is willing to do anything to help us. Then what are we doing for him? We should get inspiration, and the least we can do is spread his name, isn't it? At least we can do it's inspired other people, because that is our duty, especially in the Kali Yuga, to spread the holy name, not just to keep it for ourselves, to spread it. So because it's our nature to think, well, what do I get out of this, or how can I gain this? Or we say, oh, Krishna's been so merciful that he has brought us into Krishna consciousness, and we're thinking, right, this is good because now we can escape. We're always thinking just about ourselves. We're not thinking that, okay, Krishna has brought me to Krishna consciousness. Now, how can I benefit other people? And I know this because I am just as guilty of this. That I'm just thinking, right, this is good for me. This is good for me. But I'm not thinking that how can I benefit other people with this. No, we just always think about how can we benefit. And I think this is the mindset we have to progress. It's okay to think like that to start with, but then I think we got to think now, okay, I've got this. Now, who else can I help with this? Can I help my family? Can I help my friends? Can I help the wider society with this? And how can I do that? And you will pray to the Lord, just like Srila Prabhupada did. He was praying that, Lord Krishna, you have brought me to the Western world. Obviously, you have brought me here with a purpose. Now tell me what is my bigger purpose, and please help me so I can fulfill that purpose. So thank you so much. And just welcome my father-in-law, Rukmani Mataji, Jai Prabhu, Kay Mataji, Parveen Mataji, Prem Prakash Prabhu, Suresh Mataji, and Sopan Prabhu. Thank you for joining, and please give your views as well. And I'd like to start with Jai Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
This chapter provides a good summary of many of the incarnations of Krishna. So, I mean, we get quite good detail, summarized details of each avatar. So, I think we've got the Dash avatars, and some of the less well-known ones, like Rashadev and Prithu. We've covered these in over the past year, but without reading the Bhagavad-Gita, I probably would never have heard of these avatars. So you most people probably don't know about these, but yes, the Lord descends on earth, for specific reasons. Like Nrsimhadev, specifically came to kill the demon Hiranyakashipu to protect Prahlad Maharaj. But usually there's three general reasons why the Lord descends. First one is to re-establish religious principles and dharma. Secondly, to annihilate demons, and thirdly, to deliver devotees. For any incarnation of Krishna, the Lord that's genuine, his father's name, as well as the name of the village or place in which he appears, will be mentioned in authorized scriptures. So anybody who's generally God will never claim to be God, or say. So you mentioned all the incarnations that I mentioned. I could repeat one or two of them. So we got Varaha was the first one that was mentioned. Bull incarnation who came to rescue Earth from drowning Garbhodakshaya ocean. Harigriva, who's I think he's the god of knowledge, is personified Vedas, and he's the super cell of the demigods. He mentioned Manu. There's countless Manus. So there's many universes and period. There's many periods of Manu, lifetime of a universe. Krish. To understand Krishna fully. Nobody can fully understand now Krishna, but one can get his favor by surrendering to him and serving him. But one who's identifies with the body can never fully understand Krishna. Yeah, and you mentioned the three ways of realizing Krishna, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you so much. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, Rukmini Mataji, you want to add something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Um, Actually, we just you said about all the incarnations, and compared to all the incarnations of only Lord Shri Krishna is very very interesting for us, for human beings. If one starts speaking about the Lord Krishna, we just think, just go on hearing and go on hearing. Nothing else we feel. That was the best incarnation. All Radhaji's, Radhaji's and all gopis. That was amazing. This Ras Leela, and he killed so many demons just like playing the games like small child. It was so interesting that we love that incarnation, Lord Shri Krishna. We become very emotional. That was the best. I like the incarnation of Lord Shri Krishna. That's it, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so each yuga has its own yuga avatars as well, and yuga avatars come according to the moment. Like we have our Mahaprabhu in the Kali Yuga, and he brings the right appropriate Sankirtan movement for us, and Mahaprabhu says that Krishna is the master dancer, and we dance to his tune. We follow Krishna by chanting the Maha Mantra. So so this is the Yuga avatars, and they have so much to offer when they come. Thank you, Mataji, so much. And Praveen Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to everyone. Yes, it's very nicely concluded by Jai Prabhu, so all the incarnations, but I will say the shloka from Bhagavad-Gita 4.8. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharam samstapnarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So like you said, Prabhuji, Lord, he's so merciful. He's even taken incarnation as a Matsa, boar, all the little creatures. So to help anybody, so the Lord will take any form to help us. So we're very, very fortunate. And I'll just say about my realization, because for many, many years I've been saying to my husband, because what is the purpose of life, and I just could not see. We wake up, we go to work, we come back and go to sleep. So, but now, when I'm connected with Krishna consciousness, so now I've realized the importance, because this is what was missing from my life. And the true meaning is to, connect with Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So, yeah, at least I've found the purpose of life. So I keep like telling my sister as well. I was just talking to her, and then we were just talking about all the miseries in the world, and she said, like, we believe in God. I said, yeah, but that is wrong, because I thought I believed in God, because that was still, even though I never asked for material thing, but still back of the head there was still some motive. Yeah, okay, our children should turn out good, they don't fall into bad society, stuff like that. So still there was some expectations from Lord, to protect them. So yeah, it's very nice to hear more and more, so and the importance of listening to the kathas, so we develop more and more love for the Lord. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, just to go over the incarnations, it's really purifying and very auspicious, because Krishna is all auspicious. Just the name Krishna is auspicious, and talking about his pastimes and his incarnation, his absolute, everything is Krishna. So thank you, Mataji. Sarveshi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Krishna is the source of all avatars.
Sure.
He has no source. He's called Avatari because all the avatars come from him. And he's called Adi Purusha because there was nobody before him. Lord Krishna appears and take avatar by his own will in various species of living entities, among animals lower than human beings, as well as among the demigods to perform transcendental pastimes. But he is not affected by material nature. Well, some people think that Krishna comes, he's got a material body like us and think of them like themselves. But he's all the time, even if he takes some different bodies, still transcendental. He's got spiritual body. He incarnates himself for the different reasons or purposes, apart from killing the demons. He takes avatar to protect the devotees like Prahlad Maharaj from his father Hiranyakashipu, and to he protected the Pandavas by arranging the Mahabharata. I mean, that was his purpose to come down and to fulfill the desires. Some people desire for different things. So who can feel the desires? Only Krishna can feel the desires, especially the pure devotees' desires. Like in Ramayana, somehow Muni and Satrupa, they prayed to Lord Vishnu to have a son like him. To fulfill their desire, he came as Lord Ram. And then somehow Muni and Satrupa, they become Dashrath and Kaushilya. So he didn't only come to kill Ravan, he came to fulfill their desire as well. And there were so many munis and rishis, they were waiting for him in the Dandak forest to meet Lord Ram. That's why it was all his incarnation. And in Kali Yuga, he came as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for common people, not for the devotees. Sometimes people are not devotees, but Lord Chaitanya, his purpose was to deliver the common people. And then he spread the Mahamantra Hare Krishna. And because Mahamantra is no different from Krishna, it is Krishna's avatar, the Mahamantra. Because it says Kali Kale Nam Krishna Avatar. So now he comes in avatar as a name. He can kill the demons from a spiritual world or he's the agent. But he comes personally to do his pastime for the benefit of everyone. Not only by the devotees, for the common people. That's why Vyasdev wrote Mahabharata to people who are not very educated or intelligent. And so by hearing the katha or by listening his pastime, we will know Krishna. Who is Krishna? And then attached to, by reading, by knowing, then you get attachment people. If you don't know people, you can't get attached to him. And then when you get attached to people, then you start liking him or loving him. And then when we hear the Krishna Katha by reading Bhagavatam on other Puranas, we get purified. That's the way to purify yourself. And from all material attachment, then we get detachment from material and get attachment to spiritual life. And then when we get spiritual life, then we can go to spiritual world. And that's what the Krishna's purpose is, to come down on this earth, to do the pastimes, so people can hear his pastime and then go to his abode where he lives. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Yes, very important statements there, Mataji, and hope we can all we're all following, but hope we can keep on following and improve, and may Krishna be merciful and give us intelligence more and more and show us the way. Thank you so much, Mataji. Prem Prakash Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhamma Pranam. So I was just enjoying the pastimes of Lord Krishna, how he appears. He appears for one is sure to establish the principles of religion. And then there's another thing is important is that he enjoys the three things actually. So one is to establish principles of religion. Another thing is to give pleasure to devotees for the protection of devotees. Uh, and second thing is annihilate miscreants and protect devotees. And third thing is to enjoy his own pastimes. I mean, the relationship basically, he enjoys that. Uh, like he appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he actually enjoys his mood of how Radharani enjoys him. So these are there, and it's also said the incarnations are unlimited, and they're different kind of unlimited incarnations, Sakyavesh Avatar, Manvantar Avatar, Yuga Avatar, and so on. So that's why our Acharya actually says that it's inconceivable. So achintya bheda bhed. So one inconceivable oneness and non-difference. So so achintya bheda bhed. So whatever efforts we put on like understanding how the things are going on, we won't be able to understand. So only thing we can do is to sit, listen to the pastimes, stop our mental speculation whether Lord can do this or he can't do this. He can do anything he wants. He can do anything and enjoy that. I mean, enjoy, relish the mellows he is giving to us. And that way, when we enjoy in our heart, the Lord actually appears in our heart. If you do mental concoction saying that, okay, the Lord can't appear like that, the Lord can't do anything, things like this, whether it's obviously exemplary or the things which are lesser exemplary, which to our perception Lord can't do. So we shouldn't be thinking about all those things. We should just say that whatever he is doing is transcendental. That's all. And he can do it. And that's what actually we should take it to our heart and enjoy it, relish it. And that is what actually brings pleasure to our heart. And when the pleasure is there, it's transcendental pleasure. It's pleasure for Krishna, and that pleasure is actually when Lord appears in our heart, in whatever potency it is. It may be minute of the minutest, but that is what we are looking for. And these pastimes actually give us that pleasure. This Sangha, this satsang actually give us this pleasure. So I would really like to thank you, Narayan Keshav Prabhuji, for bringing us to a platform where actually we can associate and relish the pastime of Srimad Bhagavatam Ji and enjoy and then bring those realization into us. It's like Jai Prabhu said that people will know only 10 incarnations. Somebody wouldn't know even their incarnations. Some people will know 10 incarnations. Some knows 24, some know 25. But actually there are unlimited incarnations which we don't know. We just get to know from the scriptures what we are listening to and then relish it. So all praise to Srila Prabhupada that we are here listening, having this Sangha and knowing about Krishna, and all grace to all the devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I just wanted to say what Prakash Prabhuji just said. Yeah, Krishna can do anything. And like my personal experiences, and it will be everybody's, was like sometimes things happen and we at that time we get very disturbed and unhappy and we think it's so miserable. But then going into future, like a year or 2 years or 3 years later, and we think, oh, it was good, it happened that way. And so I always, whatever happens, always happens for the best, and God knows what is best for us. So I'm sure everybody must have experienced that, because it doesn't look good in the big when it happens, but then we think, yeah, it was for the good reason. So God is great, Krishna is great. So I firmly, have firm faith. Yeah.
Absolutely, Mataji. There's also something like when a devotee surrenders to Krishna, and nothing can happen without Krishna's will. Nothing, absolutely. And this is I'm not saying this. It is coming from Sri Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu. So Sri Vrindavan Prabhu. So it is important to understand. I'm just repeating what I've heard, but having faith on these words basically will make us to somehow. That's what we need to believe on devotees and Krishna's words. So that's what it is. Very well.
Hari Hari Bol.
Haribol, yes, Haribol.
Thank you all so much. Yes, and Shukdev Goswami and Prixi Maharaj, every week we're discussing, and this is what they're saying, that it's very important in our lives to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam and understand the Lord's stories as much as the Lord wants us to understand. And it's stressed every week that Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very important in our lives. And why would King Prikshit, in the last 7 days, listen to Srimad Bhagavatam? And then he was told by Shukadeva Goswami that this is the aim of life, to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. This is very, very important for us if we want to go back home. And he only had 7 days, and we don't know whether we got 7 seconds, 7 minutes, or 7 years, or 70 years. We don't know, but we got to live each day as the last day and relish the glories of the Lord. And like Prem Prakash Prabhu has mentioned, that they are unlimited, and there are unlimited incarnations and unlimited glories. And this is mentioned that the scientists may measure the atoms in the universe, but they can't measure because they're unlimited. At least the atoms will be limited. The glories are unlimited. Thank you all so much. Okay, time is running fast, so let's do a couple of rounds nicely. Thank you all so much. Sarveshi Mataji, would you like to make a start? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.